Good morning, thank you. My name is James King. I work with Inland Fisheries Ireland, and we're a member of the Irish Ramsar Wetland Committee. And of course, I should have said welcome to the Minister and to all of you. But of course, the Minister is already at home, so in a sense, she's welcomed us already. And it's very nice to be talking at a wetland event where we have a wetland outside the window. And I'm glad I was sitting down when the chairperson of the Ballybay group spoke, because I think I might have been knocked down by what he had to say. I was quite astonished at the degree of local effort that went into establishing and retaining this installation outside, and also the level of networking that's going on to maintain it, and the interfacing between different voluntary groups. I think it's quite remarkable. Okay, I'm the kind of a support act to basically introduce you to the Irish Ramsar Wetland Committee, introduction to our vision and work, and to today's conference as well. So let's see how we go. Ramsar Convention, 1971. I keep telling people in the office, Ramsar is a city in Iran. So that's a good start, because what's the Ramsar Convention? People may have heard of it. It was a convention that was held in Iran, 1971, in maybe different times in the Middle East. And basically the Ramsar Convention predated most of our international and current international and European, etc. Agreements on wetlands and on the environment generally. And it is, as its core elements, it has the idea of wise use of wetlands, designating wetlands, and cooperating on an international and transboundary type of basis. And I won't say too much more about Ramsar because our keynote speaker is going to fill us in much more detail. So the Irish Ramsar Wetland Committee was established a small number of years ago, basically as a kind of interface between National Parks and Wildlife Service, who basically move the Ramsar Convention ideas in Ireland, and to act as a kind of focus that is not specifically governmental or institutional. It is a committee that is trans-governmental, and established in 2010 with support from the then Minister. And basically it allows people to interface between different organisations or agencies to support the idea of wetland education, to promote awareness, and to assist National Parks and Wildlife Service in its obligations in implementing the Ramsar Convention. So we don't have any authority, but with people like Shirley Clarkin and other heritage officers on board, we have quite a lot of verbal activity which does achieve results. The Wetland Committee is approximately 15 members, and very much a mixed bag. We have various relevant government departments there. We have state agencies, such as my own, Inland Fisheries Ireland, local authorities, academics, academia, and environmental NGOs. So it's a very interesting mixed bag. That's our website address at the bottom, and you can find out some more about us there. So what are we supposed to be doing? Well, we have work programs, but we all have our own day jobs. We don't really have any money, but we get quite a lot done. And the fact that you're all sitting here today is an indication of what can be done with very little money and doing it on the sidelines with your main job. Anyway, a lot of it has to do with promoting awareness and interest and wise use of wetlands, wetland education, best practice, meeting groups, meeting voluntary groups, meeting today, say, with the Ballybay Community Group, and encouraging and, as it were, identifying the importance of their work, meeting other local groups around the country who are involved in wetlands, and of course things like organising conferences. There we are on tour. We do get out and about, have a few nice freebies, and we have a couple of field trips which combine with our meetings. Here we are meeting with the heritage officers in Banagher in 2013. Here we are last year meeting a community group involved in developing wetland in Abbeyleix. So that's some of the things we do. So today's conference, I'm supposed to just give you a warmer-upper and flavorizer of what's in store for you. The main thematic elements that we're talking about today: the Ramsar Convention itself, identifying and mapping wetlands, the role of NGOs, which is very, very important, wetland protection and the law, climate change and wetlands. Lots and lots of stuff there. You could have a month-long conference on any one of those items. But back to Ramsar, city in Iran. Just some of us don't know our Middle Eastern geography terribly well. It's a city on the Caspian Sea. It looks like a very nice place to have a conference. The Ramsar Convention again, wise use, designation, cooperation, and our keynote speaker will be filling in much more detail on all of these. Mapping wetlands. Well, those two lads certainly could do with a bit of mapping, and maybe, I'm not sure if they're lost or if they're mapping, whatever they're looking at. But wetlands, identifying them, they turn up all over the place. There's a signpost for a wetland managed by Coillte, one of our state agencies. There's a signpost for a wetland in the middle of Kilkenny City, New Park Marsh. So they're all over the place. Some are very unofficial, and some of them are quite signposted and identified and clearly cherished and appreciated. Mapping sites. We're going to have one of our colleagues will be speaking on the whole idea and importance of mapping. Nowadays, it's very important to map in the context of GIS and GPSing. And if you press your Garmin GPS instrument, you know where you are, and everybody else knows where you are. And so, some time ago, George Bush probably knew where you were as well. So everywhere gets mapped. You can create layers and layers of data. One layer then sits on top of another layer, and you can look at a layer that up to the bird sites, for example, and you superimpose that on a layer of fish sites or a layer of degraded habitat. So mapping has become very, very important. Monaghan was the head of the posse anyway, because it was mapping a few years ago and mapping its wetlands before the Irish Ramsar Wetland Committee was even established. We're looking at the role of NGOs, volunteers, community groups. I think we've already had a very telling presentation from our initial speaker this morning on what volunteers and NGO groups can do. And some of us sometimes in state agencies think that we're important and we can make things happen. Very, very important things can happen with volunteers. Citizen science, that's what volunteering is now called, I think, in scientific circles. It's citizen science, and you can write scientific papers in journals about citizen science. What it means is getting local people involved in doing things and making them happen. Birdwatch Ireland has something like 14,000 members around the country. That's a heck of a lot of people. You could probably elect someone to the Dáil with 14,000 first preference votes, if they were all in one constituency. But it indicates the significance of volunteer groups. You could have more than 2,000 people out bird watching at any one time. They're not watching the Cheltenham Gold Cup, they're counting birds or at some bird count somewhere. Here we are again, NGOs, Abbey Needs Dog. Here's one of our guides looking after, on a volunteering basis, activities and walks in that area. Wetland protection and the law. We have issues to do with drainage of wetlands, which is an ongoing, long-term issue. We have issues now with invasive aquatic species, and how do you legalise or criminalise these kinds of things. We're talking about climate change and wetlands. We're going to cover a lot of things today, so I better move along. New arrivals. Climate change brings new arrivals. Friend or foe, well, who knows? There's a couple of marine species that just arrived, and there's a white bird that looks like the heron beside it, but they've just arrived as well. What can you do about these things? Climate change and the built environment, and our colleagues in the UK, our Environment Agency, kindly gave me a couple of these slides where they're very active in the UK in looking at climate change and its impact in coastal environments and built environment, where in many cases they're building marine defences in necessary areas, but they're incorporating environmental measures into them. So they're actually facilitating the creation of wetlands in building construction activities for flood defence. Other instances in the UK, they're actually breaching flood defences. They've realised that it's completely uneconomic to continue to build walls to keep the tide out. It's like King Canute standing on his chair at the edge of the tide and telling the tide to stop. It can't happen. So they're very pragmatic in some places in the UK. They're actually breaching their flood defences and letting land go back to re-become salt marsh, which is one of the very important wetland habitat for us. And linking into all that, and I'm not sure if it's an official theme for today, but it's been mentioned already, the whole area of wetland tourism. And this is where some people sit up because tourism is money, and if you put wetland in there as well, you're making money out of wetlands, which isn't a bad idea if it means conserving and protecting them as well. A couple of facts and figures. 3,000 jobs in the Norfolk Broads in the UK, just out of wetland tourism. 1.1 billion for the Great Barrier Reef in Australia. That's not bad. And nearer to home, a recent economic survey by Inland Fisheries Ireland identified 0.7 billion annually from inland fisheries, from leisure angling. And our opening speaker spoke of leisure angling out the window here in Ballybay, which is part of the Dromore River complex of rivers and lakes. 10,000 jobs, that's not bad. Waterways Ireland, navigable waters, messing about in boats, to quote Wind in the Willows, people going up and down enjoying themselves in wetland. That's more Ramsar. Ramsar is gas in a way because it's every type of wetland. It's not just the classic wetlands like turloughs and salt marshes and bogs. It's rivers and lakes and estuaries and even coastal areas and canals. More wetlands, up in the bogs, track roads. These are a great kind of concept. We've seen the great success of the Greenway over in Mayo, which is a cycle route from basically Castlebar, Westport, right out to Mulranny along Clew Bay. But people are building track roads around bogs and so forth in places like Abbey Leaks and Letterflack National Park as well. So all sorts of opportunities. So enjoy the day. Hopefully you find it interesting. Thank you.